Good morning, world. Made it here again. I don't know how. Big day today. But listen to that. Cranes. Open up the door. Alright, probably a little slow on that. Sound like a bunch of cranes. Would it be sandhill cranes flying overhead? I think. Usually there's like thousands of them in a field just south of Prince George this time of year. Anyway, here we are. Another day. Big day. Packing to head up north again tomorrow morning. We take Sarah up and we're going to get that elk. We're going to get that elk. Okay, what do I got going on? The trail cameras. Funny, I also ordered out of habit a bunch of SD cards when I ordered all my trail cameras the other day. I always order, I get 32 gig cards. Look at them all. I didn't have a clue that the cameras came with them. Now I got a bunch of them. Not a bad thing. So, gotta get some people heard. It's funny, it's tough to have, I've got so much. If anybody knew, as usual, how much shit I got on the go. You'd question my sanity. Where's my tea? Hold on a minute. But anyways, yeah, you can look back in the history of my life, my world here. These months are chaos. That's all there is to it. So I get what I can done here. It's a challenge sometimes, but I get it done. And what else? It's also a little challenging these days for all of you who do follow what's going on in your bigger world, the world we all share, the auction we all share together. There's so much going on, and there's a lot that I keep tabs on. There's a lot that I keep tabs on that isn't related to this topic. So it's taking, not taking energy from me, but I'm giving it a lot of energy as well currently. What's going down? I want to know what's going down globally. I want to know what's going on so I can make the right decisions here at home for whatever it may come. I want to be able to, I don't want to be taken by surprise by anything that happens globally. Not me, and I'm not. So I'm just saying I put a lot of energy lately. I know a lot of you are putting a lot of energy right now into keeping tabs on what's going down. We have a crazy person who's in the position, whatever you want to call it, obviously not in control, but being controlled, screaming out loud on camera that we need to send long-range missiles into Russia. Absolute psychopath. So you know what? Whoever's manipulating, whoever is the center of all of this, we got to send missiles is, they're crazy. They're crazy people. And it just doesn't make sense. But anyways, there's stuff going on that I'm keeping tabs on. Oh, now I got somebody coming into the shop. I got to go. Whew, all right. Interruption after interruption. Scramble brains. I think I was talking about what I'm keeping tabs on, which is drawing a lot of my energy and time, but it's worthy and it's important to me. So I have a lot of things as usual I want to tackle on here with all of you, but it's just not going to be possible quite just yet. I got to get through this month, and I think we all have to get through the next month or two, everybody in the world, and hope to God that nothing but good comes to all of us soon globally. Don't you think it's time? There's no reason why nothing but good, no reason why it isn't coming nonstop. I don't get it. I'm babbling. Enough of this. Let's hear some people here. That's what we can do. Now, listen to this. This is a screenshot sent to me from follower Big Red is the handle on YouTube. And this is a comment that was sent to me. Regarding the comments posted in by the master's student studying military history, who had an interesting take on the DNA of Sasquatch and how old it was, and also how evolution cannot explain its existence, creationists will tell you exactly the same thing about us. This begs the question, Are we and Sasquatch both a product of the alien intervention that would be historian attributes to the existence of Sasquatch? Sasquatch may have been created from Homo erectus or Neanderthal or Denisovans, or even Homo heidelbergensis. Heidelbergensis. It is worth noting that the Sumerian tablets indicate that it was the Anunnaki who created both humans and Sasquatch. Indeed, it states that the two slave species were created to mine gold, gold being something used on space stations and spacecraft to absorb cosmic radiation. The first test, were the Sasquatch. But because they could read the thoughts of the Anunnaki and were very strong and could disappear, they couldn't be controlled, so they were set free. The second slave species created was us, piss weak and perfect for mental and physical slavery. And we are still in slavery, but Sasquatch are not. There you go. Well said, and very worthy of, for the ones who are interested, to do a little digging and due diligence in that, right? And there's a very, very strong possibility that is all correct from what I've been picking up from many people. All right. The title of this email is a little offside. We'll see what happens. Excuse me. It's titled, Raped by Bigfoot. Not a common email title, is it? Morning, Steve. I sent this in once before, but it never got read. Around 2 years ago now. A tribal member called the BIA police in the middle of the night and reported that he had just been raped by a male Bigfoot. No joking around. This really happened. If you ask him about it, he just says, they're real. Next, my uncle told me once late at night coming home from rodeo, he saw what looked like a very large dog coming down the road straight at him. I should mention this is all in very rural places. He pulled onto the side of the road and watched it in his headlights. He said it was very large and thick-bodied. When it got to about 40 yards from him, it turned and ran off the road and jumped a 5-strand fence. It then stood up on 2 legs and turned and looked at him. It then ran off into the dark on 2 legs. He said it was some kind of very large canine. Next, a young man I have known since he was a kid told me that late one night while driving a dirt road behind the fort, he saw a Bigfoot chasing a deer. He said it was a dog, but ugly, and ran with its arms kind of curled up in front of it. I asked him if it caught the deer. He said he didn't know because he got out of there, but he's sure it probably did. Next, about a mile down the road from my house is a crossroads. The county put a street light there for safety. There is a house there that nobody ever stays in for more than a year. Then it's back up for sale. Red flag. Back in the day, it used to be a potato farm, and there's some very large underground potato storage bins dug in there. I heard other people say they have seen a skinwalker there at the crossroads. Well, one night around 9 p.m., my cousin and I was driving home when we saw what we first thought was a large deer walking under the streetlight at us on the side of the road. We was a ways away yet, and it was kind of hard to make out. Then suddenly it looked like a 10-foot tall being, and maybe a hood on. Helicopter. Then suddenly it looked like a 10-foot tall being with maybe a hood on. Then back to a deer. Then back to 10 feet tall and so forth. Our headlights were still not hitting on it yet, just backlit from the streetlight. Then it became what looked like a very large wolf still walking on the side of the road at us. I told my cousin to pull over onto the shoulder of the road and see if we could get it in the headlights. And as the headlights started to hit it, it was just gone. Next one night, pretty late, my son and I was talking about Bigfoot. We was talking about going up in the mountains and just look for signs of Bigfoot. When on the wall right by my head where I was standing came 3 big bangs. We didn't go outside to look. Next, I got a big garden. something bipedal and big walked across it, left deep footprints. It dug up some potatoes. About 30 feet from the garden, we found where something very large had sat in the tall grass. I took some pics of the tracks, but like you say, a picture of a track is just another picture of a track. And there you go, Steve, straight and to the point. Not like some of these jackasses that think they got to tell you about their whole trip, just to end it with, quote, "We heard some wood knocks," end quote. And to the people who start off with, first let me tell you a little about me," or "First, let me give you a little background on me." Caps lock. Nobody cares, Jackwipe. Freaking narcissistic idiots. And I might as well throw in all the people who write in on UFOs, ghosts, orbs, and things that go bump in the night. There's other places for that. And for that matter, all the people who write in with their theory on Bigfoot, they go pound sand too. I hate to say it, Steve, but I'm not buying Edgar. Somebody's just trying to pull your chain there. Okay. You got your rant in and shared. There you go. Take from it what you will or leave it, man. There's a lot of other shit out there to get upset about. Trust me. A lot of stuff out there that deserves energy to be upset about than this at times, right? And there you go. Straight to the point. A handful of odd shit going on. And I am a firm believer that once it's in your mind, I am a firm believer of this. I think this is true for me. Once you put it in your mind, when you start thinking about these people a lot, especially with some kind of intent or a strong curiosity, and you're possibly out where they are, I do believe they know. I do believe they know. Yeah, because I think last year I was definitely putting a lot of thought, like direct thought in my head towards these beings in my immediate area. And what happened was I had a lot happen. I had a lot happen to me last year, up north especially. And this year, now that I had Sarah with me, and I do not want her enthusiasm of the outdoors taken away from her. As soon as we got to the woods this year, I said out loud, "Leave us alone. Period. We're here to hunt, get our food. That's it. Don't want anything to do with you here." And you know what? I don't believe anything happened, did it? Unless I've forgotten. Because sometimes at this stage of the game, I do not put too much energy into the signs myself, immediate signs, unless it's like right a drastic blow you frickin' away, but I just don't because I know they're there. I know they're there. But I'm focused on what I want to do. Enjoy my lifetime. Enjoy my life. I've got Sarah up there, and now I want to be 100% focused on her making all the good happen and enjoying it and teaching and sharing and whole 9 yards, and I don't want to be distracted by having the shit scared out of us. I just don't. I'm not into it. I believe there's going to be a right time and a right place for that for me and whoever wants to communicate with me or whatever, but not now. And I'm just saying, this seems to work. This last trip. Oh, no, I found a pile of sticks that were laid out really weird in deep timber. Not done by any animal, but took a picture, shared with you guys. Big deal. Moving along, right? Okay, I'm babbling. Sorry. But, when you say, this man just emailed and said they were thinking of going looking for sign, they were thinking about it, talking out loud about it, putting some serious, direct thoughts into doing that. Somebody heard that and let them know. Boom, boom. You want some sign? Here you go. Bang, bang, bang in the house. Which helps convince me that I may be correct. And I believe I am correct, and so are many of you out there. Rambling. This is titled Help Figuring This One Out. Hi, Steve. My name is Stephanie. You can use my name. I'm fairly new here. It's been about a month since my boyfriend introduced me to your channel. I've gone through and watched all your videos, though. Wow. That's a lot of time. I will admit that I never believed in the Saw Bay ever in my life. However, about a year ago, I moved to the Pacific Northwest, and it's a big deal out here. My boyfriend couldn't believe I wasn't a believer, which is why he ultimately introduced me to your channel. Quick reply. The belief thing, or believer, the belief, it's not really teach their own. I'd never tell anybody how to speak ever, but for me, it's only knowledge. It's whether or not you accept the knowledge or not. It's not a belief. Anyway, and I appreciate you big time, by the way. Gonna keep going here. Sorry. After listening to the encounters of countless listeners and doing my own research, I've begun to change my thought process and have become much more open-minded. That's good news. So much so that I've re-evaluated a few strange things that have happened in my life, things I had found ways to explain away. And now I'm thinking I might potentially have a couple of stories of my own. I'm still researching that though, so I will wait a little longer before I share those stories just in case. What brings me here today, though, is actually a story that a friend of ours told my boyfriend and I tonight. And I wanted to get your thoughts, if you don't mind. Our friend was driving one night well after dark. He was taking an off-ramp from one highway to another, and it happened to be a bridge, so there were no roadways beneath them. And it was slightly elevated in distance, even from the tree line on either side. He said that from his peripheral vision, he saw a small white object that looked like a plastic shopping bag flying around in the wind, so he didn't give it any thought. But when the, quote, bag, end quote, hit the side of his truck, it made a loud thump sound and physically jolted his truck, making the rear of his truck start to fishtail. Wow. He pulled over to check and see if the truck was damaged, and the car behind him immediately pulled over too. He said the two soldiers in the other car came running to him asking if he was okay. He thought their reaction was a bit extreme for the situation, so he responded with an uneasy giggle and said, yeah, why wouldn't I be? Both guys at the time replied, dude, you were just sideswiped by a freaking werewolf. When he got out and looked at his truck, there were no dents, but there was a large chunk of silvery white fur stuck in the crack where the door shuts. No sign of the animal on the road either. And that's where his story ended. But now that I've found your channel, my mind is working overtime trying to figure this one out. My first thought was, it was a wolf. Like an actual normal Pacific Northwest wolf. But I don't think, even at a standstill, let alone a 60-mile-per-hour highway speeds, that a wolf would be large enough to physically move the truck. Also, I think it had to have been moving pretty fast in order to look like a blur and only as big as a plastic shopping bag. So a werewolf? A dogman? I just don't know enough about either to give myself a suitable answer. Any thoughts? That's all I got for today, Steve. I really like your channel. I love that so many are able to find their safe place here and appreciate anything that helps me see a new point of view and opens my mind up to new truths. Thank you for you do, Stephanie. Stephanie, what a golden email. Absolutely appreciate you coming forward with that. Love it. I love the fact that you are willing to learn, right? Learning to learn from your community. People on the planet, right? Honest people sharing what they saw, didn't ask for it. And I'm so thankful there's people like you in the world who are listening and inquiring. Awesome. What do I think? I am definitely not the guy. I don't have a shit pile of knowledge on the dogman werewolf thing myself yet. I have some very informative, well-educated people who have been looking into this for a long time, and they have convinced me ultimately that yes, there are numerous hybrids, and there is. That I will say with confidence I agree with that. I've looked into and read everything they've shared with me on the topic, and it appears to be solid fact that there has been some intentional manipulation of DNA and crossbreeding. Whether mainstream science, the public school system tells you it's impossible, it's pointing to be the opposite. It's been going down. So there's a lot of weird shit going on. Right? There's a lot of weird shit going on. Just the fact that some type of being, any type of being, first off, as an easy example, can vanish, that tells us that basically anything's freaking possible now, right? And we don't have to learn it, but I want to learn about it. And we're learning. We're digging. We're not supposed to, but we are anyway, right? Who's next? All right, here's another email. So far, all of today's has been recent. Comment you asked for about 2 months back. Good morning, Steve. This is the guy that hooked the Bigfoot in the upper left chest. Fisherman. Uh-oh, I gotta sneeze. Hold on a minute. I'm good. Anyways, probably you don't remember my email. It's been over a year and a half since you read my encounter on the, quote, Mountain Fork River, end quote, in southeastern Oklahoma. Oh, I remember it. I'm 71 years old, and I don't have a best friend or friends to go out in the forest with me. I bought all the camping equipment that I think that I need. I just have no one to go camping with me. I have plenty of personal protection equipment, and I can use each weapon proficiently. I'm not in the best of shape, but I can hold my own. After 50 years, I've rented a log cabin at the same place of my encounter in 1974 at Beavers Bend State Park in southeastern Oklahoma. My plan starts on October 3rd through 10th. I do plan on fishing for rainbow and brown trout and smallmouth bass. And by the way, my thoughts are right with you, brother, on fighting those who cannot fight for themselves. I'm there for them, stepping in to alleviate the issue. You take care, my friend. I pray for you and yours every day. As you know, never forget to watch your six. And as a warrior tracker, you know that God's always got you covered. Good hunting and fishing, Charles A. Hamill / War Chief Tracker C. Charles, appreciate that update. Glad you're getting it out there, and I hope everything goes well. I would imagine that you know that the chances of you having some kind of another experience are probably right up there. Probably with the same person you hooked in the chest, I would guess. Keep us updated, and we all pray for you and hope your travels and your camping is safe and prosperous. Imagine that, hooking a frickin' hairy person in the chest. Okay, here's another one. Fairly recently, it's sent in July, and where'd it go? Hold on a minute. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm up against for reading this. Okay? I think it was meant to be in point form, possibly. So I'm going to show you guys just so you know. Here, that's how it was saved from the email. All right? Okay. So bear with me. I should be able to make this sound smooth. Point form. At 1 year, listening to email accounts and gathering patterns. Point. 2021 archery elk hunting, Eastern Oregon. Initial 9-day encounter. First night. Black form in kitchen window. Horrible stench. Second night. Game camera moved. Trash can moved. Trash bag rolled like sock across highway. Hollowed area in blackberry patch. Tweety bird whistles, scat. Instead of saying point, blah, 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 point, blah, 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 I'm just going to pause, read the next sentence, okay? Chaos behind new RV pulling in. Hour later, King Kong roar, rattled chest. Rock smashing. Next morning, in stand. Told them I'm just hunting, no harm to their family. Rock smashing next morning. I have a right to feed my family too. They chase elk over to me. I kill a cow. They toss rocks all around me while I pack out. Caught one on the game cam while taking it down. 2 weeks later, they were smacking the side of my house multiple nights. That means they followed you home. Howling from the swamp, getting the coyotes to go crazy. Can hear their voices in the howling. Bad feeling while lying in bed. In my head, quote, if you're not aligned with Christ, leave, end quote. Oh, so you said that in your head. Loud smack on house immediately near bed. Shot at raccoon at 3 a.m. Arrow hits the chicken house. Mom Sabe calls out with rough owl hoot across the road. Little Sabe returns call opposite side of the road behind neighbor's house. Can hear them walking closer to where I'm in the backyard. Multiple nights while reading on the couch, I could suddenly smell wet, sweaty hay. Wet dog or poop. I'd always look around for the smell, but it would disappear within minutes. Touched my back while sleeping during the night. When I looked up, there was a loud whoop from outside the bedroom window. rocked my son-in-law and daughter's trailer in the driveway. I believe it was the kid, 6 feet tall and lanky. I prayed around the corners of the property for them to stay away in Jesus' name. I went to the swamp to get a game camera, and as soon as I stepped out of the truck, I heard a very loud whistling peat sound from 30 yards in the swamp and across the logging road, and up into the clear cut, I heard a smallish reply. Got my cam, and coming back to the road, I asked the parents to keep their son from touching the trailer as it scared my family. Next morning, I walked into the backyard at 5 a.m. to check. Young boy was in the backyard. I couldn't hear him, but the quail alarmed, and I saw his shadow hiding behind my smoker and then creeping away. I was touched on my hand one night in bed, and then my leg stroked with a finger the next night. I was totally calm and fell back asleep, induced. Many sounds outside the house at night. Young boy standing in the crack of my bedroom doorway inside the house. When I saw him, he flashed out of sight, but the movement triggered the motion light in the hallway. Could hear the kids tapping on my house. Could hear the kids tapping on my mouse cages in another room at night. Found out later they were taking them out and holding them and then just letting them loose in the room. Shadows in my backyard around the woodpile. 1.5 to 2 foot peering and then darting away. Black raven feather left in the middle of my garden path 1 hour after I'd walked through. Riding mountain bike up a steep grade in Palmer Trail area in the woods, one of them picked up the rear of my bike so that the tire spun freely for a few seconds. Triggered the motion light downstairs repeatedly until I realized they wanted me to give the mice some water. They were out and thirsty. Stopped after I gave the mice water. First time my wife realized they were coming into the house. Woke up to the mom or dad, cloaked, standing 3 feet from my bed, swaying. Watched each other for a long time and then said in my head, "You can't stay here all night." Then it just faded away. 2023, July 5th, 2 to 3 a.m. I woke on the couch with tree knocks outside the front door across the street. Sat outside for 5 minutes, nothing happened. Went inside, closed the door, fell asleep, and then I woke to my whole body vibrating and my spine warm. Woke again at 6 a.m. and my damaged spinal discs were totally healed. I've got the back of a 20-year-old kid. Hitchhikers began to appear in my house, different sizes at different times, 95% of the time just appearing to me. Woke one night to a 2-inch orb floating near me, bright but fully contained light. It slowly floated up into the seam on my safe and was gone. Woke to a small gray cryptid standing next to our bed. As soon as I saw it, it vanished. I rebuked it in Jesus' name. First and last time I saw one of them. 3 to 4 feet tall, black almond eyes. How many times has that been reported? Think about it. All around the world. Same description. Same thing. Healing vibrations continued in different places in my torso over the next 1.5 months. 12 times. 4K dreams dash. Dracula is a dream that has stayed clear and sharp with me. Weird orb, half in ceiling and half out. Spider web of light in ceiling drywall made its way toward the bed, around the sofa, rebuked in Jesus' name, got up and left the room. Crazy, creepy. Howler monkey howling outside the house, getting the coyotes going crazy. Super loud and incredibly clear tones. First real close, then very quickly farther away. Hearing large tree branches breaking outside the house at 3 a.m. Hearing the metal door clanging sounds at night around 3 a.m. Dash portal. Pine cones thrown out the window to let me know they were at the house. I would go sit on the back porch to let them see me. Once I was too tired to get up, and I got a pine cone fly through my vision in bed with my eyes closed, and it clanged off the inside of my skull so loud. They weren't happy. 3 pine cones lined up on top center of my back porch deck. 1 second, helicopter's going to be loud. I'm going to close that glass door. Young one in my kitchen window, and as soon as I saw it flash, it was gone to the left. Many times seen them looking in the window, then when seeing them flash, they're gone, but they wind up walking by my laundry room window and I can see their hairy back going by. Tan color, 4 to 6 inch long hair. Little one, 2 to 3 feet tall, raced past me in the gravel driveway while loading the back of my truck. I saw a zip flash, laughed, looked around the truck, and of course nothing. I told him he's fast, but I did see him. Hunting camp 2023, owl hoots first night, fell asleep, woke to a giant hand on chest, couldn't breathe, fighting for breath. Saw a vision, looking down 30 feet in the air of a large black sabe outside my trailer next to my bed. I woke the next morning to the hitchhiker attachment having been removed. Whistling at me while hiking/hunting. Very clear, crisp, beautiful sounds. Thermal image of 2 adults on hilltop about 300 yards away. Fuzzy thermal of them only. Can't scare me, firefighter scared with bubble sound over. Should while hiking. That's a different sentence. Let me read that one more time. Can't scare me, firefighter scared with bubble sound over. Should while hiking/hunting. Maybe you meant over your shoulder while hiking/hunting. Missing buck of a kid who told his own sabe story. Pushing the wife's head into the pillow and thumping on the floor next to the bed. Just her. Wife hearing a car crash into downstairs but nothing's there. Wife hearing dishes crash behind her in the kitchen with nothing there. Woke me by gently pressing down on my feet. They're resting on the arm of the couch in daylight. Hearing them stepping on leaves outside the bathroom window. Daytime, can't see anyone. Black shadow head/shoulders sticking out from the doorway 6 feet away during the day while reading a book. Suk, S-U-K, a bus - made me mad. I grabbed and throttled - heard growl/scream in my head. Eating the ivy leaves near the bedroom window. Cloaked figure in the bedroom, 3 a.m. Tiny sparkling stars inside the cloak twinkling. Commanded in Jesus' name to leave. Melted into gray smoke that rose and raced around over my head and out the door/window. Resting on the couch, eyes closed, could see through someone else's eyes as they blinked. I couldn't make out what they were looking at. In my home office during the day, something clanged around in heater ductwork in the ceiling, like a kid trying to turn around. Nightly banging and noises around the house during the day sometimes for weeks. I would rebuke in Jesus' name, and if the hitchhikers left, they would come back the next night. First time I rebuked everything, as I was exhausted. The sabe were mad and slammed a door in my head, very loud. They seemed to leave quicker when I changed my statement to, "The Lord rebuke you." Months of this go by. Crunching chip bags in front of us. I can't see anything. Praying in Jesus' name for all of it to go away. And something big and wide hovering near the ceiling in the kitchen. I rebuked it in Jesus' name. It sucked up into the ceiling, and gray smoke rolled in a circle away from the spot. I got up to ensure it was gone and could smell burnt stone. I had a 4K dream looking out the window at night at the street, seeing something. Not a man, but not really a sabe, walking across the road to the other side of the neighbors, double wide. I lean out to see if it's going to come my way, and the jello energy slams me in my back against the counter, enveloping me. I wake up laying on the couch with this energy coming over me from the couch upwards. I pray in Jesus' name over and over, and it finally goes away. I woke to something like a Mardi Gras mask hovering next to me, flicked it with my fingernail, hit something hard, and it disappeared. Can hear the hitchhikers banging around the feet of the couches at night while watching TV. Morning in the bathroom, on toilet, and something next to my right ear takes 2 big breaths. I glance and then ignore it. What the heck? I didn't even flinch. I'm getting punchy with all this. Banging on the bottom of couches, zipping around the house. Just seeing wispy, black, fast motion, constant. Reached up through the couch and touched my back with hand/fingers. Coming up through the bed/couch, making it feel like
sitting/laying on Jello. Traveled to Eastern Washington. They're there in 2 days, standing in the kitchen window. 11 p.m., footprint by the bathroom window. Traveled to Arizona, knocking. Traveled to Hawaii, first time, knocking on metal pole. 2 a.m., 3 to 5 knocks. Traveled to Hawaii, second time, walking behind friend in hammock during the night on a volcano, knocking with clamshell sound. Black figure in condo, walking along with me in the bushes. Come home, turn Christian hymns on, medium volume. A few minutes later, volume goes to 50. I turn it down, then it mutes. I turn it up and say, is that the best you can do? The next day, cutting grass. Dump grass 30 yards away, come back, and it's hard to cut. The rear axle had been adjusted to the lowest setting. I fix it and finish. I then get water jugs to refill spring water, go to the spot, left the keys and the phone on the console. Walked up to the tailgate and it's locked. Go to the cab and it's locked. An hour later, after getting a ride to get some spare keys, arrive home and test the locks with fob inside. Doesn't unlock. Give up, step out, and all locks hammered down with the doors open. Quit caffeine, then had strange hitchhikers cling onto the back of my head while sleeping, attach while sleeping, and then, after waking, rebuke in Jesus' name to remove. Would stack on each other, pull at my face and vibrate constantly. Went on for weeks. Always rebuke and remove. Feel like they're absorbing the pain of caffeine withdrawal at the base of my neck. I rebuked one in a Dallas hotel room. It went down into the bed immediately, and a table, chair, lamp crashed in the room below us. Woke my wife. Happened again when returned home, attaching to the back of my head/neck. It came to me to revoke rights they may have gotten from me to touch me, but in my house, etc. Russ Dizdar used to speak of this. Immediately, a peace settled over the house. 2 weeks later, and still 99% of the noise is gone. Had a few weak neck attachments, but rebuked in Jesus' name. Whenever the Sasquatch are at the house, the hitchhikers are gone. I don't think they get along. Had another all-enveloping energy jello come over me. Woke up at 2 a.m. like the Sabe like to do. Wake me up before they do something. Hitchhikers don't do that. And then I get this haunting feeling, and up to the couch comes the jello energy. I rebuke it away. I broke out into a cold sweat and realized later the sweat broke my cold and I was feeling better. That's it. End of story. That's a what the F email. Right? What do you say to that, you guys? I don't know. I mean, we do. Remember that reading that brings to mind that poor soul from the UK who sent us his lie detector test and a huge list of all the absolute nasty, terrorizing shit that was going on with him and his home. He was trying to block out all the sounds by any means he could. He was absolutely going bonkers. I believe he moved one time and it all followed him there too. I don't know what that's about. There's nothing I would ever want in my life. If it's true, I don't know these people. Neither do you. Maybe some of you do, but when you think about it, this email that was just sent to us, that is one hell of a effort. Like if you're to wake up in the morning and your brain said to you, oh, what should I do today? I know. I'm going to write into that How to Hunt channel. I'm going to think something really crazy up. And then go to doing this email. That's a big effort, man. It's a big effort. Why would somebody even do that? You know what I mean? I know there's some crazy people out there who do some wild shit, but I don't know this person. I wasn't there. I can't say this didn't happen. I haven't a freaking clue. All we can do is take from it what we will or leave it. But if you go and look back at all of the experiences people have been having around the globe, especially what comes to mind as well, the Skinwalker Ranch. Right? What's up with that thinning veil? There is a thinning veil, isn't there? A thinning veil between us and another dimension, right? Maybe some of us, I don't know. I do not have a solid answer to what was going on is going on with his family. Crazy, right? Whew. Who else do I got? Okay, I'm going to read this one more, and then I have to go pack. And actually, I'm going to go check a trail camera I got down by the river. I think it's going to be loaded up with a whole pile of bears. And if it is, I'll share it with you guys. This next email is titled Yellowstone Story. Steve, first, thank you for sharing your stories online. It's been quite the journey listening to your experiences. I thought I'd share a story about backpacking Yellowstone in August of 2016 that completely freaked me out. I've never experienced anything like this up until that point, nor during subsequent trips after. To preface this story, I've been backpacking and hunting since I was in my early teens. To me, the two go hand in hand and share many similarities. Both teach skills that you can apply broadly. In August 2016, we left the 9-mile trailhead in Yellowstone, just on the northeast side of the lake, heading out on a 9-night, 10-day backpacking trip. We hiked roughly 12 miles down the coast and camped at an established campsite directly across from the promontory point. Brimstone Bay, I think it was called. It was late in the evening, and we sat around a campfire laughing, enjoying some whiskey. There were 3 of us in the group, and all of us had 20-plus years experience. Around 8 p.m., right after sunset, we started hearing these loud roars from the south. To our direct south was the thoroughfare valley that led to the Teton Wilderness. We hadn't even stepped out into the delta yet, and had about another 5 miles before crossing Yellowstone River. There's no wind, an event that is rare next to Yellowstone Lake. The sound was almost like a deep hum, a rumbling that persisted for around 5 minutes. Have you ever heard a train go by at full speed from a distance? That's the only way to describe it. The sound would echo from one side of the eastern thumb of Yellowstone Lake to the other, roughly a quarter to half a mile wide, water way between the east side of the lake and Promontory Point. This continued for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and during this time we didn't hear a single bird chirp. Dead silence. The camp we stayed at was less than 50 yards from the main trail, and with no noise, you could easily hear anyone or anything walking up or down that trail with ease. We tried to listen for the hum, but couldn't hear anything at this point. Slowly the birds came back to life, and it seemed that evening would go off without a hitch. About another half hour has gone by, and one of my buddies pointed up towards the trail, and we watched, stunned, as numerous elk, deer, and eventually what I can only describe as a herd of bears came up that trail, hauling ass north. The hum never became audible again, and we must have seen 30-plus large game animals run up the trail. Not trotting, not walking, running at full speed up the trail. By now it was pitch black out with just a sliver of new moon showing, and we listened for easily another hour and kept hearing activity all around us. We finally decided it must have been a vent opening or a minor earthquake that spooked everything. So we decided to call it a night and hiked up to our tents that were nestled in some young growth about 30 yards toward the trail, away from the food poles and the fire ring. And here's where it gets stupid creepy. I think the animals all booking out of there would have been creepy. That's the creepy point for me, from what I know. Around midnight, we heard human voice coming from the direction of the trail. I flipped my headlamp on and crawled out of my tent with my tent buddy. I pointed my headlamp directly at the trail, and there stood an older, tall, slender man with a white beard. He looked right at us. No pack, no shoes, fully clothed in rags, and took off running up the trail. His eyes were not normal. He had to be in his 60s, over 6 foot, and white as a ghost. He just bolted up the trail. My buddies thought I was crazy, and that the whiskey had been poured on a little heavy, but that wasn't the case. I knew exactly what I'd just seen. Freaked out, paranoid, and a bit worried that some a-hole was out there on meth or something, I coerced one of the other hikers to walk to the trailhead that led to camp with me. There it was, an animal track on top of animal track. Then a size 12 at least footprint right on top. We walked slightly uphill, another 100 or so yards back north on the 9-mile trailhead, and the barefoot prints kept going. We turned around and hightailed it back to camp. And needless to say, I slept like crap that night. The next morning, we woke with the sun around 6:30, crawled out of our tents. I made sure to take a good look around and make sure nothing was watching us nearby. And sometimes you just get that feeling like something's watching you. We went about our daily routine of breakfast, breaking camp, and setting off. We made it back to the trailhead and couldn't believe the amount of tracks. Not even kidding. The entire trail looked like it had been chewed up overnight. Everything in that valley utilized that trail overnight. We hiked another 10 plus miles that day into the thoroughfare. Never heard the hum again, or the loud rumble. In reality, it must have been a tremor or event, but where did this old guy come from? No pack, no food, no water? He looked right at us. Eyes wide as silver dollars, then silently just took off up the trail at a sprint. I don't know if you've ever experienced anything like this, but none of us were armed beyond our pocket knives and bear mace. I've never seen that many animals get out of dodge. We hiked up to Mariposa Lake on the 4th day and ran into another hiker who was coming from the Snake River Valley and crossing into the Thoroughfare Valley. He said he heard the hum too. He described it as a chorus of trumpets, all out of tune. We didn't even have to ask him. He asked us. We told him about the tall old man, and he just stared at us. You could tell he was chewing on that idea. Then he told us that while he was camped at 8C9 in the Snake River Valley 2 nights ago, a herd of elk and deer just came busting by his camp in the middle of the evening, heading south toward park boundary. I've never experienced anything like this in my time in the backcountry, nor do I hope to again. When we told the rangers about it, they just chuckled and blew it off. Of course they did. I don't know what it was, or who the old man was, but I carry now in Yellowstone. Laws be damned. Right? Good move. Have a great day and be safe out there. I know the story seems far out there, but we saw and heard it all firsthand. Best regards, Aaron. That's a holy shitter, Aaron. For a lot of people who aren't familiar with the backcountry backpacking or Yellowstone or any other place for that matter where there's deer and elk and other wildlife, they might not get the understand the impact of just seeing that. That's a lot. That's very, very bizarre. On that note, I wonder how many people have experienced the same thing, possibly may have been semi near you at the same time, and they're watching this channel. And I wonder if they're looking at each other going, holy shit, we saw that too. And the old guy thing, I don't know, remember, that also rings a bell. Somebody emailed in about an old guy who came up to someone in their truck or had an old truck, helped them, said something to them, then just absolutely vanished. But a similar description. My brain's a little frazzled right now trying to come up with that perfect memory. But I do remember somebody coming into contact with some old man somewhere for a short moment, and then the old guy just disappeared. Appeared out of nowhere and disappeared. What an odd thing to wake up in the morning and go, I think I'm going to make this up and email it into a YouTube channel. Right? Anyways, I believe you saw what you saw. I got your back. You found your people. Many people here also are going to absolutely accept what you saw. And I do not have any explanation for it. The trumpets, that's not a first time. That's been reported numerous times. Trumpet-like sounds, right? There's so much going on, right? There's so much going on that we have not been raised to know about. Why not? Why not? So odd, isn't it? It's so odd. And it's also odd, I'll get back to this a little bit, but it is so odd how many people that have previously had this topic corralled up, right? Numerous TV appearances, even a goofy show, And those very same people assist in hiding facts from truth. Why is that? You know, I could go on and belittle them and call them names, which is easy to do. But aside from that part of it, why is that? Why is there so many human beings who try to make it look like they are looking for answers in this topic, but at the same time, they are denying facts and denying evidence from coming forward and doing everything they can to stop that? Why is that? You guys ever ask yourselves why? Do you guys ever ask these people why? You know what I mean? There's so many mysteries. There's so many weird, which should be questions asked by everybody. Why? Why? What's going on? Who is convincing you, as in you dirtbags, to continue to attempt to keep all of the innocent people in our community going in circles? Who's making you do that? How do they convince you to do that? Money? They threaten you and your family? Or are you not even human yourselves? You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of questions. If we could just get some of these easy ones, these which should be common questions being asked, answered, it would answer a lot. Who is avidly seeking out these forest people to destroy them? Who is and why? If we could just find out that answer for reals, holy shit, would that ever answer a lot, would it not? But those are answers that people don't want us to have. Why not? Right? And I always throw these questions out, and I probably repeat myself because I need to. We need every single one of us to ask these questions and find those answers, right? We don't need everyone, tens and tens of thousands of people, to sit there, log on, listen to a video, and click off and don't ask questions on their own time. You know what I mean? We need everybody to ask questions. Get it popular to ask the questions. Get it mainstream to ask those same questions. Ask those people. Pressure them right up till they give it up. Come clean. You know what I mean? Just come clean. Tell us who's making you attempt to keep the people going in circles. Right? Okay, enough babbling. I gotta get going. I think I got 70 meat chickens out here I have to deal with. Got a bunch of stuff prepared for them so they're easier to care for while we're gone, attempting to go get our second elk to put in the freezer. Got to pack, got to do all sorts of stuff. But on the way into town to get our other stuff, I'm going to stop by this place on my friend's property where I think there's going to be a shit pile of bears right now. And this one particular one I'm curious about. And if I got them on camera, I'm going to share them with you guys. I'll share it on my other channel later on. But either way, keep it coming in. Keep that information coming in. Keep the questions coming in. If anybody you heard today needs to hear from you, email me. Or put it in the comment section below. Do whatever you got to do, but keep going. Keep going. Share my story at howtohunt.com. Email it there. Get the truth out. Don't be scared of anyone or anything. All right? Don't be scared. The howtohuntstore.com is where these are. All right? So a lot of people, I think, are missing the link below in the description. It is the howtohuntstore.com is where you can find these little devils, all right? howtohuntstore.com. Anyway, I don't know if I can be back tomorrow or not, but I'm going to try. And if I am back tomorrow, it's going to be from somewhere remote in British Columbia. Later.